Alright, let's have a moment of brutal honesty here. You ever notice how most of what you see on TV feels like it was written by someone on a caffeine binge with a wild imagination? That's because it probably was. And I'm not talking about soapies or real housewives of whatever. I'm actually talking about the so-called news you love to watch. Gather around as we embark on a thrilling roller coaster ride through the wild world of South African media. Buckle up, Buttercup, because today we are diving deep into the enigmatic, sometimes baffling, and often eyebrow-raising universe of News24. Yes, that bastion of journalism that's reliable as a weather forecast in Cape Town. News24. And honestly, most of the mainstream media has somehow started to feel like the South African cousin of reality TV. Dramatic music? Check. One-sided characters? Check. Carefully selected villains to rile up the crowd? Double check. It's less about this happened and now more about look how you should feel about what happened. But guess what? Just like Big Brother has contestants screaming into pillows for drama, a lot of your favorite headlines are just manufactured tension. Think about it. Have you ever seen a headline that said everything is fine guys, no drama here? Nope. It's always shocking revelations or sources claim Mashatile strikes back. It's WWE, but with journalists instead of jacked men in spandex. Picture this, an anonymous Twitter user going on by the also subtle name Twatterbus starts ruffling feathers with some, let's say, controversial tweets. News24, the ever-vigilant watchdog, decides it's time to unmask this digital provocateur. But instead of a grand reveal worthy of a spy novel, they end up doxing the poor soul. His name, his address, his family tree, his favorite ice cream flavor, you name it, they got it. Public reaction, a collective followed by the News24's masterclass in overreaching, because this turned into a witch hunt with the Wi-Fi connection. Then in a plot twist no one saw coming, News24 launched a Disinformation Desk aimed at debunking fake news. Yes, the same organization accused of spreading biased points now appoints itself as the speaker of truth. This massive hen house where it's the truth and nothing but the truth, hands on the Bible. While the intention might have been noble, skeptics couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, or both, at the irony. Was this a genuine effort to clean up the news landscape, or just a clever rebranding of their own narrative control? And then enter the geopolitical minefield of the Israel-Palestine conflict. News24 decided to dip its toes into these waters, only to end up knee-deep in accusations of hypocrisy. Critics pointed out that their coverage was as balanced as a one-legged flamingo, often painting a picture that seemed more like a Picasso than a photograph. This led to debates about whether News24 was reporting the news or auditioning for a role in international diplomacy. And then the deputy president Paul Mashatile, the guy who collapsed and then was almost assassinated the other day, that guy found himself in the crosshairs of News24's relentless reporting. So much that he penned an open letter accusing the outlet of abandoning impartial journalism in favor of relentless propaganda campaign against him. It's one thing to hold public figures accountable. It's another to turn it into a soap opera subplot. Was News24 still playing by the rules of journalism? Or had they thrown the rulebook out of the window? Then, in a delicious twist of fate, News24's own actions have made them a recurring subject of news, from public spats with other media houses to being called out by the press council. These goobers have managed to blur the lines between reporting the news and being the news. It's like the chef who keeps eating their own cooking and then complains about the taste. The result? A credibility crisis that makes readers question whether they are getting facts or just well-spun fiction. And even if they did know it was fiction, they didn't have a choice but to read it. And because of that, let's talk about how the media pretends to give you choice. You scroll through headlines from different outlets thinking you're getting a variety of opinions. But if you look closely, it's the same narrative dressed in different fonts. It's the same voices saying the same things, sometimes quoting each other like it's an echo chamber karaoke night. Take News24 and a few other big outlets. Once one runs a narrative, the rest usually just follow them. It becomes gospel overnight. Suddenly, everyone is mad about the same thing, and that one person or party becomes the devil of the week. There is no room for nuance because nuance doesn't get clicks. Binary outrage does. You're not watching the news anymore. You're watching a scripted, highly polished, emotionally engineered content stream designed to keep your blood pressure up just enough so that you keep coming back. Now let's break some hearts. Reality TV is not real. Your favorite social media couple, they argued over who gets to film first. That wholesome cooking show, they threw out 5 burnt attempts before getting the Instagram-able version. That shocking News24 scoop might just be recycled drama from 3 weeks ago with a new face. Even your beloved Survivor of the Week interviews on the Evening Bulletin, half the time they've rehearsed their lines. Tell us again how shocked you were, but say it with more tears this time, sir. Boom, that's the scene, and the emotional piano music fades in. It's performance, fam. We've gotten so used to television and mainstream news being part of our daily rhythm that we don't even realize we're being trained to think what they think, hate who they hate, cry when they cue us to cry. But Sama, what is the solution? Simple. Think for yourself. Read multiple sources. Trust your gut, not your screen. You think with the stuff I say, I said it from watching SABC News every morning and relying on what they said? Hell no! Who benefits if I believe the story without question? Those are the questions you must ask yourself. You must ask yourself, who painted them that way? Who wants me to believe this? We don't hate News24 because they're evil. We just know better. We know that at the end of the day, clicks keep their lights on. Drama pays the bills, and controversy, that is prime time content. If we blindly trust them or any outlet of that matter, we have handed our minds on a silver platter. Let me entertain you, sure. Let them entertain you, sure, but don't let them downright indoctrinate you. I'm not saying boycott the news entirely. The goal is awareness. You must know when you're being fed feces. You must know when they're trying to program you instead of inform you. Be awake, not fake woke because Twitter said so, or Malema said his UK visa was cancelled. We live in a world where filters are not just on Instagram, they are on the truth. So keep your mind sharp, keep your eyes open, and never forget, the loudest voice in the room isn't always the honest one. Now go be dangerous. Dangerous because you think, dangerous because you know, and dangerous because you don't believe everything you see on TV and the internet. You ever wonder who actually controls News24 and all these other trusted sources that somehow always seem to know exactly what to be mad about, who to cancel, and when to go dead silent about something that actually matters? Let me introduce you to the Shadow Syndicate of South African news, also known as retired golfing politicians, executives who still say fax me that, and overpaid editors who think TikTok is a type of virus. These are the real villains. The ones in the corner offices with that creepy abstract art and a picture of them shaking hands with someone who used to be relevant in 2006. You know the type. They still use BlackBerry chargers, wear those stiff suits that squeak when they walk, and say things like optics and media integrity while approving the 5th article in a row about some celebrity's new BBL or something. And their job? Oh, it's simple. Make sure South Africans, number 1, are never really informed and keep running around in circles like headless chicken. Number 2, always have someone to fight, EFF and Orania. Number 3, keep watching like hypnotized toddlers staring at a microwave, like you watching the looting. You think these guys care about the truth? Get out of here. Let me explain to you how newsrooms work. First, someone farts near a politician's assistant. Boom! Breaking news. High-level gas leak in parliament. The DA and EFF clash. And then some editor, who hasn't been outside since Zuma's 2nd term, goes, yes, let's spin this. And suddenly you have 4 opinion pieces, a panel discussion on SABC3, and a Twitter space hosted by someone with a blurry profile pic and 8K followers saying, let's unpack this. And who are the puppet masters here? It's not the journalists on the ground risking their necks. It's board members, investors, and that one guy in every meeting who says, let's not piss off our investors here and our sponsors. That's right, News24 and their cousins, controlled like sock puppets by people with too much power, too much money, and too little honesty. Because they do not want the truth. They want TV ratings. Here's a fun fact. Most of these news execs don't even watch the news they want you to watch. They watch CNN or golf. or some sketchy business podcast run by a guy named Charles who lives in Dubai or something. They don't care if you're informed, they care if you click. They care if you're angry enough to watch again tomorrow. That's why every headline sounds like it was written by a panicked aunt with a Wi-Fi problem with the help of CM Punk. Electricity crisis. Is Eskom in trouble? Shock as Celebrity X says something mildly offensive from 3 years ago. Maybe you're the problem and not the government, Malema. It's always the same narrative. And you eat it up because they're good at what they do. They've turned propaganda into pop culture. They are the Steven Spielbergs of subtle brainwashing. You thought Uzalo was fiction? Have you watched our news lately? It's got more plot twists than Mubango, more drama than Generations, and less factual accuracy than a Facebook post from your aunt in Benoni. South African television is run by people who probably do the following: play golf during national protests and the State of the Nation address, dine in Santon restaurants while telling black youth to hustle harder, fund campaigns to empower local voices while paying interns R0 per hour. Oh, and let's not forget the cronyism. Cousin of a friend lands a show without nothing. Meanwhile, talented creators can't even get airtime unless they speak fluent brown nose stuff. These media bosses are basically Bond villains, minus the charisma. They say things like, "We believe in free speech," while literally deleting segments because the sponsor didn't like it. They launch transparency campaigns while signing backroom deals with political PR teams. And they'll swear they're impartial right before rolling out the fifth opinion piece, blaming everything on Gen Z, TikTok, wokeness, and the transgenders they let in the nation. They believe in keeping people just confused enough to argue with each other instead of questioning who's holding the strings. So next time you're watching News24 or flipping through TV channels, wondering why everyone sounds the same, like they read the same script, ask yourself this: who benefits from me being outraged, misinformed, and entertained instead of empowered? And once you answer that, turn off that damn TV. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Remember Babita Deokaran? Of course you do. She was the senior official at the Gauteng Department of Health who had the audacity, the sheer nerve, to point out that maybe, just maybe, there was something fishy about 1 billion rands worth of tenders at Tembisa Hospital. Her reward? Assassination. She was gunned down outside her home in August 2021, and while 6 men were sentenced for her murder, the masterminds, the big fish, are still doing the backstroke in their pools of corruption with their OnlyFans models. But wait, there's more. Babita wasn't the first, and sadly, she will not be the last, and you know it. Jimmy Mohlala, this guy blew the whistle on corruption related to the 2010 FIFA World Cup Stadium in Mbombela. In 2009, he was murdered right in front of his son. Talk about family trauma. Moses Pako, an ANC councillor who exposed corruption in Rustenburg municipality, also murdered in 2009. Are you seeing the trend here? Usindiso Magaka, former ANCYL Secretary General, who exposed corruption in Umzimkulu municipality. He survived a shooting in July 2017, only to die from his injuries in September. Dr. Abu Baker, known as the People's Doctor, he was murdered in his Soweto clinic in 1989 after allegedly uncovering corruption. Now you think the media would be all over these stories, right? Of course they would. I mean, they must expose corruption, demand justice, hold power to account. But sometimes it feels like they are more interested in the latest celebrity scandal or which politician wore it best. I wouldn't be surprised if you heard all I said for the first time from me. Everyone knows News24 is skeletons. There have been instances where coverage is, let's say, selective. Some stories get the spotlight, others are conveniently ignored. Could it be because of who owns the media house? Or perhaps which political party they're cozy with? I'll let you connect those dots for the Saturday night. Here's a word to the wise. Don't believe everything you see on TV. Here's the kicker. 99% of what you watch on TV, including those reality shows, are as real as my chances with Pearl Dusi, basically. Or even Mini Dlamini. So next time you're watching the news or your favorite reality show, remember, there is always a director behind the scenes, deciding what makes the cut and what doesn't. South Africa's media industry has a dark side, one where whistleblowers risk and often lose their lives for daring to speak out. While some journalists strive for integrity, this system is riddled with biases, opinions, and let's face it, a penchant for sensationalism over substance. So stay skeptical, stay informed, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see a day when the truth doesn't come with a death sentence. That's it from me today, and I'll see you next time. Deuces.